Good evening, everyone. Welcome to MBA Karo. So, CMAT 2025 is just a week away, and today we are going to have a mega session on uh, the innovation and entrepreneurship section. It's a unique section which is tested only in CMAT, and if you talk about uh, this section, it has a certain category of questions. So one thing I would like to request is please go through past year papers also. It was introduced in 2021. So 21 to 24 PYQs, please go through them as well. You will be able to get the questions as well as the answers. So go through them. Apart from that, what are the kind of questions that you get in this? So there are certain questions related to innovation. What is innovation, different kinds of innovation, how to protect innovation, like copyright, what is copyright, right? What is intellectual property rights and all those things. Then related to entrepreneurship, some generic questions. There are certain questions which can be answered with using common sense. You do not need to have any specialized knowledge. Some basic business awareness, if you have, you can answer some of the questions. Some of the questions are basically based on some business like jargons, especially related to startups and all. You need to know those jargons. And finally, there are some questions related to government schemes and Indian startups. So we shall be covering all these questions along with current affairs as well. Okay, so innovation, then you have related to startups, government schemes, then you can have questions related to current affairs on related to businesses. Okay, like mergers, acquisitions, uh, like you can have some brand ambassadors, right, etc. All those things. Then you have some business awareness related to entrepreneurship. Now, if you have business, basic business awareness, that what is a financial plan, right? What are goals of a company, right? Some basics related to different things. So this can be answered if you have basic common sense. And things related to entrepreneurship, like what are the qualities of an entrepreneur, what are the challenges, right? So all these things are the broad categories of this topic. Okay, all right. So let's start this session. And if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends who are preparing for CMAT. This will be quite helpful. It is going to be a long session. We will be covering around 120 questions. Okay, covering all these broad category of questions. Plus, I'll be explaining the things as well. Tagline, rare chance you do not get many questions on company tagline. So, not to go about covering this category, right? Company taglines is not generally not asked in innovation and entrepreneurship. Okay, and in case you are preparing for CMAT, we have mock test for CMAT. So I would request that you should take as many mocks as possible to give you a variety of questions. Okay, so in GK, CMAT GK is very vast. We will be conducting some sessions on GK as well. So you need to practice a lot of questions. So we have 10 mocks for CMAT. There is one free mock as well. You can take the free mock and test yourself that where do you stand in CMAT. Okay, so the link to those is given in the description of this video. All right, so let's start. Here's the first question. Which of the following is an example of disruptive innovation? Which of the following is a disruptive innovation? So, disruptive innovation is an innovation which drastically improves how business is done, right? So, it like completely changes the way a business is done, right? Increasing the profits, revenue, etc. of the company, and especially involving technology. So, if you involve a new technology and change the way the business is done. So for example, in this case, introduction of electric cars to the market is a disruptive innovation. See, people are using cars, then you bring a new technology altogether. So in disruptive innovation, what happens is you bring a new technology and you beat the competition, and people start using your product because it is far superior. It can be cheaper also, it can be more convenient, etc. So the example is, among these options, the example is introduction of electric cars, because people already using cars, so the product is already there, you bring a new technology, a very advanced technology. Okay, who owns the iconic beverage brand Campa Cola? So do read about basically Indian entrepreneurs, Indian business houses, conglomerates, etc. So who owns which of these groups or companies owns the brand Campa Cola? Heard of this Campa Cola? So Campa Cola used to be an old cold drink brand. Okay, before Coca-Cola was introduced to India, like in 1970s, 80s, this used to be a very popular brand, and it was later acquired by Reliance Retail. So Reliance owns this Campa Cola. Okay, next question. What is a common strategy used in the maturity stage of the product life cycle? So, if we talk about the product life cycle, there are four stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So, product comes like this. This is intro. Okay, so you introduce a new product to the market, right? Then there is growth. So, the product grows in the market. Then there is maturity. The product matures, and like it is well aware, well known with most of the people. And then there is decline due to new technology has come up, right? People are already, there is a lot of competition, etc. So if we talk about the maturity stage, which of the following is a common strategy? Now, in the maturity stage, people are already aware of the product. Okay, in the growth stage, it is growing like anything, but maturity, you need to do certain things. So repositioning the product or adding new features is something that you would do, right? You would not reduce the price, you would not new, so new product typically they do at the decline stage, so that new product is joined, and people, like if new version is launched, people forget the old version and try the new one. Okay, brand awareness is already there. Brand awareness is needed at this stage because initially people are not aware of the brand. Okay, maturity means people already know about the brand. The T in Pestel analysis refers to. So Pestel analysis is basically a kind of business analysis in which you understand the economic factors, right? So P understand stands for political, economic, social. You tell me what would be from T: legal and environmental. So whenever you run a business, let us say you want to do a business in a different country. Okay, so you need to, or even within a new place. Let us say if you have business in one particular state, you need to do in another state. So first thing you need to check the political environment, right? Is that thing supported? Right, so for let's say if you are doing meat business in a particular place, now if there is a state which is very particular about animal conservation, and if the the government there may not support it, right? So that is political. Then economic. So let's say if you are selling like you have business in a tier 1 city, you are selling some premium products, but it may not work in a tier 2 place, tier 3 place, it may not work. Okay, so that is economic landscape. Then social, like are the people willing to, like is it a socially acceptable product or technology? If people are not willing to purchase anything, right, so that means that is not a useful thing for thing for people, right? So that is one thing. Then we have then apart from that, you have T stands for technology. So are the people equipped with the technology? If they do not have the technology, they may not use our product, right? So you launched a 5G phone, but there is no technology for it, so it will not work, right? Then legal aspect, if any business is legal in that place or not. And the finally environmental thing, does it affect the environment or not? So coincidentally, so far all questions have had answer option A. I hope that should not repeat now. Okay, that was just like there were some questions and were randomly assorted. Okay, so this is like the next one. It says that platforms such as Blinkit, uh, Zepto, etc., that deliver goods within a very short time frame, usually within 10 to 30 minutes, are categorized as which kind of commerce? So you must have heard of this term. Like these are called a special kind of sites. Like you have e-commerce. E-commerce refers to any general you would say that any sort of online business comes under e-commerce. But what is these kind of apps called? So the term used for them is quick commerce. Okay, so you also call them q commerce, quick commerce, which deliver in a very short duration of time. So that is called quick commerce or q commerce. All right, next question. When was the notion of an entrepreneur as an innovator established? So notion of an entrepreneur. When was it established? So this entrepreneur thing, like previously, entrepreneurs were not sort of innovators. They were typical that traditional businessmen, right? They would not be using technology. So during this like mid 20th century, this thing was established that entrepreneurs can be innovators also. So previously it was just mechanical businesses, right? Technology was lesser used, and during the mid 20th century, there came a notion that they can be uh, innovators as well, bringing innovative ideas to the businesses. Okay, so I told you one of the categories that is important is Indian startups. Okay, so related to Indian startups, especially this, like I've seen in the past that especially the people who are associated with Shark Tank India. Okay, so their startups plus other startups also, which are quite popular in India, you should know about them. So there could be questions related to them. So what is the name of the company owned by Varun and Ghazal Alak? Heard of them? Ghazal Alak, Varun Alak and Ghazal Alak. So she used to be a shark in Shark Tank India. I don't think she's a shark right now, but yes, previously she used to be a shark. Right? Heard of this company, Mama Earth? It went for IPO also. Right. So Mama Earth, the company name is Honasa Consumer Limited. Okay, Mama Earth is the product. It's a brand, and the company name is Honasa Consumer Limited. Members of a distribution channel are excellent sources of new ideas because Now, one category, these are the category of questions which I would say that most of the people get right because they just require some basic common sense. If you have basic common sense about businesses, you can get all these questions correct. So, distribution channel, right? What are the distribution channel? The wholesalers and retailers. Distribution channel consist of wholesalers and retailers, right? How they are sources for new ideas. How can they give new ideas? See, like they have well developed sales force, but sales force does it give you new ideas? Sales force, they are sellers, but not necessary. They do not bother if the entrepreneur bears a loss. This is a negative statement. Okay, so you can easily reject. They earn a handsome profit, so it is irrelevant. So obviously, this becomes the answer. They are familiar with the needs of the market. Okay, so they know that what the people want. Let us say if I'm selling like ketchup in a kind of bottle, right? Now they say that no, people are not interested in buying bottles, right? They want small sachets. Okay, they do not want to store in bottles, or they do not want let us say some product people want in plastic bottle instead of glass bottles, or any other thing, like they do not like the packaging of a product. So the retailers, they are in direct contact with the people, customers, so they get ideas from them and then communicate to the company. All right, next question. 80% of consequences come from 20% of the causes. What is this rule called? So this is rule is not only valid in business but everywhere. Like for example, in your exam also there are 20% of the chapters that are essential for scoring 80%, like covering 80% of the syllabus, right? So similarly, like 20% of the people in the company hold 80% importance, uh, or do 80% of the work, or several other places. It is not just 80/20, it is just a notion which says that minority of the people, a small section, does majority of the task or holds major importance. So, for example, like for fitness, 80% is diet, 20% is exercise. So, several other places this principle is used. This principle is called Pareto principle. Okay, 80/20 rule is, it is also called 80/20 rule. So, this is Pareto's principle. All right, let's move to the next question. Which day is observed as National Startup Day? National Startup Day. When is National Startup Day observed? Any idea? No idea? This is an important question, right? Know about this fact. So, National Startup Day was yesterday only, right? No internet. There were some memes also. No internet. I mean, that was not related to National Startup Day, but yes, like yesterday was National Startup Day. So, Startup India scheme was Startup India. That scheme was launched in 16 Jan 2016. So since then, National Startup Day is observed on 16th of January every year. Okay, so it could be a question asked in the examination. When is National Startup Day observed? Which tire maker recently acquired the Camso brand from Michelin for $225 million? So recent mergers and acquisitions. Okay, so it could be by Indian companies, or if it's a very big scale, maybe by foreign companies as well. Okay, not heard of this news. How many of you heard this? So current affairs covering up to this could be I mean in IND, and in case you're targeting MyCat, there also they ask like these kind of questions, brand related questions. So the right answer is C8 tires. Okay, heard of C8 tires? RPG Group has this company, C8 tires. So they acquired this brand called Camso. Which of the following is not included in the opportunity evaluation process? So opportunity evaluation. Opportunity, what opportunity of what? Opportunity related to businesses. Okay, so if you have some business opportunity, so you evaluate it objectively. You try to figure out that whether this is a feasible business opportunity or not, isn't it? Like people get some business ideas, but that should be practical also. Okay, does it give profit? Can the business be grown? So that opportunity. So like many times you see that some incident happens and people generate business out of it. Like COVID happened, lot of new businesses emerged, right? So how do you, which of the following is not included? Length of opportunity. Okay, so let us put on hold. Real and perceived value of an opportunity, this is important, right? It will be included because what is the perceived value and what is the actual value of the opportunity? Is it a valuable opportunity to invest in? Because if you're trying to start a business, right, you will be investing your time and money to it, right? If that is going to be fruitful, so this is something that will be included. Goals and objective of the customers. Okay, goals and objective of the customers, does it involve goals and objectives of customers? Yes, right. So if like if you feel that the customers are not uh, like they do not have any uh, like benefit from the opportunity, they will not be attracted to it. Risk and reward, that is important. So length of opportunity is not like it is irrelevant. Okay. In which year did India have the maximum number of unicorns in a single year? So unicorn, I don't think they will ask what does unicorn mean, because the very first year when this topic was introduced, they had asked what does unicorn mean. So unicorn means $1 billion valuation. Now what is valuation? Valuation is a perceived value of a company. Okay, it is not the revenue or something. It is a perceived value. Like for example, you hear about those top billionaires and all, right? And you hear that he has this much of net worth. Now that is not the money in their bank account. Okay, बैंक अकाउंट में तो कुछ ही, like they will have some billions or like some up to some extent, but that is the perceived value, that what is the ownership of those businesses. Similarly, like what are the different assets, that is one part, but what is the perceived value in the market? So that is called the valuation of a company. Okay, so there are different methods. You do not have to go into the deep finance that how it is valued and all. So if a company is valued at $1 billion by the market based on their current assets, based on their revenue, based on their future forecast, right, economic conditions of the country, etc., several measures, so that is called valuation. So if you get $1 billion valuation, that is called a unicorn. And some, like if you get $10 billion, that is called decacorn. Okay, so new term could be used. What is decacorn? So $10 billion valuation. Now India has some 100 plus, I think 117 or 118, that number has reached. The maximum number of unicorns were added in the year 2021. Now, unicorns, what happens is mostly due to financing. Like if funding is received by companies, they grow in size. So it happened in 2021. Some 40 plus companies became unicorns in the year 2021. But after that, it has gone down. Right? 2022 had fewer, like around 20 companies or so. 23, 24, very few companies became unicorns. Like I think last year only 4 or 5 companies have become unicorn in the last year. One was Krutem, one was Aether Energy, uh, another was Rapido. Okay, so only 5, 6 companies or 4, 5 companies became unicorn last year. In 2023 also, around 10, 12 companies. 2022, some 20 companies or so. 2021 was the year when India had the maximum number of unicorns. So 40 plus companies were added to that list. What is the innovation funnel in innovation management? So core theory based questions. Innovation management, what is innovation funnel? You know what is funnel in general? Not innovation funnel, general funnel. You must have seen this thing in your kitchens, right? From which you pour oil into the bottles, right? So that is called funnel. So funnel, what happens is it narrows down. See, such kind of question can be asked, answered using common sense, right? You do not have to know things. Okay, so if you know that this is a funnel, process used to filter out unprofitable innovations. Okay, filter out. It is not filter, right? Filter is a different thing. Funnel is a different thing. System for managing the financial aspects looks irrelevant. Method of generating ideas through team brainstorming. Okay, method of generating ideas, fine. Way of narrowing down. So what is the purpose of a funnel? It narrows down things, right? Now if in case you have done digital marketing, okay, if any one of you is works in digital marketing, so you know about the sales funnel. Okay, so funnel means things narrow down. Okay, so narrowing down large number of ideas to focus on the promising ones. So there are a lot of ideas. Then you filter them, narrow down, and that is the most important ideas. So there are a lot of ideas in the beginning. Then in the end, you will work on the important ideas. So that is called innovation funnel. Which of the following does not form intellectual property? Intellectual property is something that a sort of thing which can be copied, okay, which can be used by another. That is intellectual property, something that is which you created as a speciality, okay, and should be preserved. So invention, some literary or artistic work, right, or some kind of design that you created, that is called intellectual property. So something which is exclusive to the company. Now trademark is an intellectual property, okay, because if you are using some tagline, right, that refers to only that particular company or product, right? Patents are intellectual property, that is your research. Copyright, if you have some literary work done, artwork, that is copyright. Tangible assets are not intellectual property. Tangible assets means, let's say you have stationery, you have furniture, etc., that are tangible assets. Okay, that does not belong to your company. Which of the following is a common barrier to innovation? Common sense based question. Common barrier to innovation. Lack of resources, excessive government regulation, too much competition, lack of customer demand. So there will be some thought provoking questions. I would say that basic थोड़ा सा common sense लगाना है, थोड़ा सोच विचार करो, you will be able to answer that. Lack of resources. Okay, so there are resources. Now innovation requires brain, right? If you have less resources also, at least you can think, right? So that is not a barrier. Okay, excessive government regulation. So there are a lot of government regulations. Can that be a barrier to innovation? If you want to develop new product, but there are lot of government regulations, you cannot try things out. So could be one possible. Okay. Too much competition? No. See, there are a lot of companies that were already competition. They came up with innovative products. Lack of customer demand? No. If customer demand is not there, you come up with some product, people will demand for it, right? For example, let's say like you all have been using water purifier, right? Since you were child, small children, you must have been using. But previously, there were no water purifiers. Your parents must have been drinking just tap water. There was no customer demand. They came up with the product, started selling it. Now you see air purifiers. When you were small, you did not know about that there is something called air purifier. Now people are selling it. So customer demand is generated. You develop a product, okay, customer demand will automatically come. So you do not need to have customer demand for innovation, right? But yes, if there is government regulation, then you may be uh, restricted from innovating things. You want to implement something, but there are government regulations which cannot assist you in innovation. Who is the founder of Mintra? So there are others also. I mean, there are others also. Plus, there are two other people. There's Vineet Saxena, and so there are three founders. So the main founder is Mukesh Bansal. I mean, the most popular out of them. Okay, Sachin and Binny Bansal, they are associated with Flipkart. Okay, Mukesh Bansal is the founder of Myntra. Which of these institutions launched Fincluvation to encourage startups to develop financial products? So, government initiatives supporting startups is something that you should read about. Okay, different schemes that are related to startups. So, we will discuss those questions as well. So, maybe you might not have heard of it. It is Indian Post Payment Bank, IPPB. Okay, so it's a scheme to encourage startups to develop financial products. So, financial inclusion, some sort of financial inclusion innovation, that is the like expansion of this inclusion. Which of the following is a key factor in determining the value of a startup? Now, what are the how can you determine the value of a startup? Which of the following do you think is a key factor? We discussed about that valuation thing. So, which of the following could be the key factor? What do you think that could be an important factor in determining the value of a startup? So location is a factor, but not necessary. Size is not a factor. Age is not a. This is the. It is a key factor. That is the most important out of them would be potential for growth. Right. If you feel that the company can grow multifolds, that means you will value it high. Okay. Other things are also important. I'm not saying that they are not important, but the most important out of them is the growth potential. If you feel that the startup can grow even if it is from a small location, okay, it is not very old startup, its size is very small, if you see that the potential is very high, then that startup will be valued high. Which of the following is an example of a social enterprise? So social entrepreneurship is a kind of entrepreneurship in which you contribute something meaningful to the society. So there are different kinds of entrepreneurship. One type is social entrepreneurship as well. So, like if we see that for profit company that sells luxury goods, obviously, if you are luxury goods, that you are not doing anything for the society. Non-profit organization. So usually these will be NGOs or social enterprise that provides job training. So if you are providing job training, then obviously that is something which is a sort of like a social enterprise, right? You are having a positive social impact. Religious organization, no. Government agency that provides healthcare services, yes, it is a government agency. I mean, that is impacting, but that's a government agency, right? So that could be a hospital also. So not necessarily it's a social enterprise. So remember that here the motive is not profit. So non-profit organization is something that would be considered as a social enterprise. Which of the following is a common method of market research? Which of the following is a common method of market research? Now, market research, you like uh, there are different methods. Okay, so the most but out of these, like you can just use your common sense. Random selection, guesswork, intuition are just bogus options. Survey is a kind of market research, right? You do survey, and you reach out to people, understand their needs, right? So that is a market research. Which of the following is a common form of innovation in the service industry? I hope you understand what is product and service. So, product is basically in which you give a physical good. Service is something wherein, like a kind of like non-physical thing is provided. Like for example, banking. Right? You are not giving a physical good. That's a service. Hospitality, airlines. You are not selling something, right? You are giving a service, right? So that's a service industry. Goods is, let's say you are manufacturing something, so that's a product based company, right? So service industry, which of the following is a common form of innovation? Process innovation, product innovation, supply chain innovation, inventory innovation. So if you improve the process of certain thing, okay, so if you are providing service, if you improve the process, again common sense है इसमें, ठीक है, इसमें आप process improve कर सकते हो. Other three will be an innovation in product industry. So these are all product based things. This is a service based thing. So I'm telling you that there are a lot of questions which do not require any prior knowledge. Some basic common sense, basic आपको like sense है business का on and all these you can answer those. Like if you have basic awareness of the terms, what does service mean? Right? So you can answer these questions. You do not have to prepare too much about things. Which of the following is a form of entrepreneurship? So things to prepare would be like current affairs related to Indian startups, founders of important Indian startups, okay, government schemes related to startups, etc. Rest is like things which you can answer easily. So mostly people are able to do well on this section. Form of entrepreneurship, franchising. Franchising means you take franchisee of a bigger brand, right? That's an entrepreneurship because yes, their brand name is there, but you are running the business. Investing, is it investing a kind of entrepreneurship? Investing means you have put money into it, so you are a stakeholder in that particular company, right? So if you invest in certain thing, then also you are called an entrepreneur. Indirectly, you have vested interest in that particular company, right? Then consulting is obviously you can run your own consulting to relate it to your field. That is a form of entrepreneurship. So all of the above are forms of entrepreneurship. The strategy of creating and capturing uncontested market space, thereby making the competition irrelevant, is called. So this is related to business strategy. capturing uncontested market space. Okay, so uncontested means there is no competitor in that space, right? So that particular strategy is called blue ocean strategy. What happens in a blue ocean? Blue ocean is a, I mean, ocean in typical is a very big space, isn't it? Very big space, and you can easily go into that. So that is called blue ocean strategy. Red ocean strategy is a strategy where is high competition. But if you are capturing some uncontested market space, maybe due to some technological innovation or some new product or some new service, anything, that is called uh, like blue ocean strategy. I hope you are enjoying this session. So please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And in case you are preparing for GDPI, so we have a batch running for it. So you can enroll in that. Well, let's look at the next one. Entrepreneurs are most interested in. So, what would they be interested in? Easy question. So, obviously, they will be identifying and exploiting new opportunities, right? Entrepreneurs always look for new opportunities. They try to exploit new opportunities to gain some valuable, like they, to make profit out of those opportunities. Okay. So, a lot of questions related to entrepreneurs are asked, which involve qualities of entrepreneur. Okay, आप just search करोगे like Google में qualities of entrepreneur, you can get things related to that. Which e-commerce company owns the fintech company PhonePe? So some Indian startups, right, who are the owners, some Indian business houses. So have some basic knowledge about them as well. You could possibly get questions from that. Who owns PhonePe? Any idea? Yes, Flipkart is the right answer. Flipkart is correct. Core competencies are essential for successful entrepreneurship because of what? First of all, let us understand what is a core competency. Core competency is something that is an expertise of that business. Okay, so for example, let us say a particular uh, like product or process that the business is best at, that is called core competency. Okay, so some businesses may have core competency in some kind of service. Okay, or it could be some anything like it could be some marketing strategy or certain thing that is uh, the most important, like you can call it the strength of a business, right? So how it can help is limit the entrepreneur's focus? No, that is not the case. Discourage innovation, so the negative baat kar rahe hain. Increase the risk of failure, again negative thing. Provide a competitive advantage in the marketplace. So let us say a company is very strong in technology. Okay, so it has core competency in terms of technology. So if some new technology comes, they will be able to scale the business faster. So that is called core competency. It is basically a strength of a company in any of the domains or any product, service, etc. Which actor is an early stage investor and the brand ambassador of Bold Care? So there's a brand called Bold Care, which actor is an early stage investor and one of the co-founders of this company. So brand ambassadors read about some companies like especially celebrities and all. You can get questions because they are also entrepreneurs. Like celebrity are also sometimes they are entrepreneurs. So this Bold Care, the answer is Ranveer Singh. Innovation can be best defined as dash. What is innovation? Like if you have to describe in one sentence, what is innovation? Innovation basically means you have some ideas and you extract the best out of those ideas. आपके पास कोई आइडिया आया, आपने उससे नया बिजनेस बना दिया या कोई नई टेक्नोलॉजी ले आए एंड ऑल. So successful exploitation of new ideas. Okay, evolution of new ideas is not necessary innovation. So everyone comes across ideas, but if you do not create something meaningful out of it, that is of no use. राइट. आइडिया तो सबको आते रहते हैं, 100 आइडियाज आते हैं सबके दिमाग में, राइट. यू ऑल्सो कम थिंक ऑफ आइडियाज. ओके, आई विल डू दिस थिंग, राइट, वी कैन डू दिस बिजनेस ऑन दैट. नो, दैट इज नॉट not innovation. You are just getting ideas that anyone can get. So if you successfully exploit those ideas, exploiting the idea means make the best use out of that idea. That is called innovation. What is the primary purpose of an elevator pitch? What is elevator pitch? Acha, what is elevator? First, you know what is elevator? So let us understand this term related to businesses. So what happens is elevator means a lift. Take a lift that is in building. Now, what happens is, let us say if you have to uh, go to some big investor, right? They do not have time to listen to you. Okay, let's say if you meet some very big investor, so they may not have enough time. So the only place where you can catch them is an elevator. Okay, you can catch them in an elevator and you do not have much time for that. Okay, so you prepare a pitch. I mean, that is the theory behind this term called elevator pitch. Like, let's say within 1 minute the lift will go from one floor to another. Let's say you are going in some floor in a lift and you have to pitch yourself. You have to tell about your business to those investors within that short time frame. Within 1 or 2 minutes you have to describe what is your business. So from there this term came, which is called elevator pitch. Okay, so elevator pitch का मतलब होता है एक short speech about your business and you have to briefly describe it. Okay, so what is the primary purpose is you do not have to give detailed presentation. So that is wrong. So it is a very short, quick conversation, and the main purpose is to generate interest and secure a follow-up meeting. Now you will just give a brief about the business. In within 1 2 minutes you will tell about the business. Now uh, if you give the brief about the business, the person will get to know, okay, this is the business. If you are able to generate interest about that person, so they will communicate with you later on. So try to get a follow up meeting. वहां तो आपने बस 2 मिनट बात की, 2 मिनट बात करके आपने उनका इंटरेस्ट जनरेट कर दिया, सो दैट दे आर इंटरेस्टेड इन योर बिजनेस एंड दे विल speak with you in detail later on. So that is the purpose. Okay, close a deal. No, you like no one. There is no fool that who will close the deal within 2 minutes. Okay, no one will give you funding within 2 minutes. Okay, you spoke to them. No, they will have a follow up meeting later on. Network and exchange business cards. No, that is irrelevant, out of scope thing. So the purpose is to generate interest of the investor and keep a follow up meeting. So now, not necessary that you meet them in the elevator. It you can meet them anywhere, but they give you very short time to speak to them. What does churn rate mean? Churn rate. churn means churn, like if you not necessary in terms of uh, like uh, 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 not in terms of business, just in like if you talk about that English word churn. So churn means to extract something out, right? To remove certain thing, right? Now, churn rate means it measures the rate at which customers stop doing business with an entity. So churn rate, like it's a negative thing for a company. So the company should try to reduce the churn rate, the percentage at which customers are getting reduced from the company. So if you have, let us say, you have 1,000 users, next day you have just 900, so 10% churn rate. Okay, so that is the rate at which users are going away and not having the business with that particular company. So that is called churn rate. The integration of various entities engaged in different stages of the distribution chain is called. So there's a distribution chain, and if you integrate different entities of a distribution chain at the different stages, so what it is called. So you understand a distribution chain. So distribution chain, let us say, first of all, you will have some supplier, some supply people supply raw material. Then there are manufacturers, distributors, right? Retailers. All these are parts of the supply chain. So if you integrate all of them together, okay, if you merge all of them together, that thing is called vertical integration. Okay, so I'll show you through a diagram also. There are two kinds of integration: vertical integration and horizontal integration. So suppose, let us say, you buy the supplier also, manufacturer, distributor, wholesaler, retailer. अगर आपने सब purchase कर लिया, let us say you are a large company, okay, you acquire all these things. Let us say you had a different supplier, and now you start producing yourself. Okay, you start selling your own products through your own retailers, etc. That is called vertical integration. Okay, horizontal integration means that, let's say, two suppliers merge together. Okay, two manufacturers merge together. Okay, so two distributors or wholesalers and retailers, they merge together. That is called horizontal integration. Vertical means that all of them have been combined into one entity. Okay, all right, let's see the next one. Easy one. I expect all of you to answer this question. Yeah, so we put daily community quiz. Okay, and every day we put around 8-10 questions in our community quiz. So please do participate in that. Okay, so if you scroll through last 1 month, probably you would have got some hundred or even in hundreds of questions on our community as well. Okay, so if you are not a part of our channel, please do subscribe to it and attend those community quizzes as well. Nikhil Kamath. So these brothers, Nikhil and Nitin Kamath, founders of Zerodha. The use of informal networks by entrepreneurs to gather information is called what? Easy question to answer. Like if you an entrepreneur is using informal network to gather information, right? Some do some market research or any sort of uh, information the entrepreneur collects. That is called entrepreneur networking. Okay, so use your business network to uh, gather any information. That is called entrepreneurial networking. Kleiner Perkins is a venture capitalist firm based in. So read about some like top VC firms of the world. So these are like Venture capitalist firm, these are the large firms that invest in businesses. Okay, so it is one of the popular VC firms of the world. It is based in US. An entrepreneur who owns more than one business at a time is called what? So there are some people who own multiple businesses, right? Not just one business. They have multiple businesses at a single time. There are some people, right? So you might be knowing also some people, maybe not directly, but indirectly, you know some people who have multiple businesses running. Okay, बहुत तरह के businesses होते हैं अलग अलग multiple purposes. So they definitely have people under them, a large team who control all those businesses, but they have different uh, kind of businesses. So that is called a portfolio entrepreneur. Okay, if a person has multiple businesses at a single time, that entrepreneur is called portfolio entrepreneur. अच्छा, here a term used is intrapreneur. Intrapreneur is an entrepreneur within a company. Now sometimes this kind of question is also asked, like within a company, if a person is a, suppose let's say there is one particular product given to a person. Okay, so that person like will be called an intrapreneur. Corporate entrepreneur is no such thing. I mean, these are some self-generated terms. There is nothing called corporate entrepreneur. An entrepreneur in the stationery business found out the reason his notebook was not selling due to its color. What could be the best source of this information? Okay, maybe the person was using some weird colors on his notebook and that was not selling. So, what could be the source of this information? How could he know about that? This thing. A common sense based question, easy one. How can the person know that it is not selling? Yeah, so right one, that retailer are the sources of information, right? We did discuss that retailers are sources of information. So retailer could tell that this is the reason the notebooks are not selling. Dash is primarily concerned with the identification, qualification, and evaluation of the project resources. Which of these is associated with identification, qualification, and evaluation of project resources? So, you can use the normal English vocabulary to think about it. So, this is called feasibility analysis. Okay, so you are identifying, qualifying, and evaluation of the project resources. So, you are evaluating things, whether it is a possible thing or not, right? So, that is called feasibility analysis. Who is a promoter of a company? Tricky question. Who is the promoter of a company? So promoter, like first is takes part in the incorporation of a company, is a director, is a relative of the managing director, works to do publicity of the company. So obviously you can eliminate third option, relative of the managing director, bogus option. Publicity of the company, no, promoter is not that. Right? Promoter is not something like, you might be thinking from that influencer point of view ki promoter. No, that's not a technical term. Okay? Promoter is not something who promotes a company. Not that way. Now what happens is, if a person who takes part in the incorporation of a company is called a promoter of the company. When the company starts, whoever is one of the founders, right? That person is called the promoter of the company. Now director is also a promoter, but all directors are not promoters. Okay, like it is like syllogism. Sare directors, right? We may have all directors are promoters, but all promoters are not, or other way around. This is promoter and director. So there might be some directors which may not be promoters. Let us say, like you do questions in mathematics, like A and B started a company, C joined later. So C can be a director, but not a promoter. Only A and B will be called the promoters. So promoters are the ones who start the company, and director, like director is a promoter, and there can be independent like directors who can join later also. Okay, so promoter is person at the start of the company. Technological breakthroughs can be a source of innovation by which of these? Like which of these is statements is true? So these true false based questions can also be asked in the examination. Be it IND, be it in GK, be it in quant also, right? Quant में भी कोई concept based question पूछते हैं, true false पूछ लेंगे. They will give you two statements and say one is true, true is true, both are true, neither of them is true, or they might give you multiple statements also. So technological breakthroughs can be a source of innovation. How can tech breakthroughs, you know what is breakthrough? Like some, let's say some entirely new technology comes up. Let's say AI came up. So that is considered as a technological breakthrough, right? If you drastically change, a drastic change in technology is called a technological breakthrough. Make existing products or services obsolete, yes. ठीक है, so you can make things obsolete, right? बिल्कुल नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई, you can create new products and existing products become obsolete. Okay, creating entirely new business models, yes, you can make entire new business models out of it. Okay, so both 1 and 2 are can be the result of innovation. Okay, so some new technology came, old products became obsolete, and you started new business models, so both are possible. Okay, so that is the right answer. One of the disadvantages of a franchisee business for a franchisee is, what is the disadvantage of a franchisee business? So, what is like a franchisee business? Franchisee business is, let us say you have a brand and you take a branch, you take a franchisee of that brand. Let's say if you want to, let's say Domino's, right? Domino's Pizza is there. You open up like a shop, right, and you start selling those. Okay, so that's a franchisee. You take franchisee of that. Okay, now if you see, what are the disadvantages? First is saying lack of brand identity. No, that is an advantage. And you get a brand identity. So if you are selling, let us say, some local item versus an item of a food chain, popular food chain, you have that brand identity. Okay, so definitely that's an advantage. Franchisee businesses typically have high failure rate. Now this is some preconceived thought process. That is not true, not necessarily true. Okay, not a that's a uh, that is not a fact that is stated here. Lack of independence, yes, that is a disadvantage because you have to follow their processes, right? So you have lesser independence. Yes, they will assist you with, they will give you that brand identity, they will give you the raw material, etc. Supply, everything will be done by them, but you have lack of independence. You cannot innovate things in that. You have to follow their instruction. You want to create something new product, you cannot do that. Okay, so that's a disadvantage. Training is not normally provided, no, that is false. Training is provided. So everything will be given, training will be provided, you will be given raw materials, the supply chain will be taken care of, everything else will be taken care of. You just have to sit and run the business, but you cannot innovate the business over there. That is the biggest disadvantage of a franchisee business. A key aspect of the financial section of the business plan is, an easy question, just requires common sense. Read the options and answer it. Financial plan, what could be the key aspect? Statement of management skills, realistic sales forecast, production capacity, description of competitors. Among the options, only one thing talks about finance, right? Management skills is irrelevant. Production capacity not related to finance. Description of competitors, wrong. So you can easily eliminate options. So there will be several such questions wherein you just need to have basic common sense, understand the basic terminologies, and answer them. Okay. All right. Let's see the next one. Changes in government policy or regulations can be a source of innovation by. Now, how can change in government policy be a source of innovation? So, if the government is changing certain policies, how can you leverage it for innovation? Creating new challenges or opportunities for businesses? Possible. Stifling innovation in regulated industries? Irrelevant. Affecting large corporations? Does not seem any logic in this option. Discouraging entrepreneurship, that is a negative thing. So obviously this becomes the answer. New challenges or opportunities. So if let us say some new government regulation has come. Okay, so there are new opportunities for businesses. Okay, let's say government bans import of certain things. Let's say some raw materials of certain products. So it is an opportunity for local entrepreneurs to start producing it. Okay, so there could be like opportunities for new businesses. So that's how it helps. A company is called an artificial person because. Now these are theoretical questions. Remember that you can get these kind of questions in the examination. So like this is going to be a useful class for all of you, and like it covers the entire spectrum, like all kind of questions. Why is a company called an artificial person? It does not have the shape of a natural person. See, if you are asked such kind of a questions, you do not have to go by literal sense, right? You need to apply some business aptitude. Like, of course, it does not have a shape of a natural person, so you cannot call it a artificial person. It cannot be used in a court of law. That is wrong, right? So, like companies have special courts. Okay, so there are courts which deal only with company matters. It is invisible and intangible. Yes, companies are invisible and intangible, but that does not make it an artificial person. Now, it exists only in contemplation of law. So, company does not exist physically, but it exists in legal terms. Okay, so that is why it is called an artificial person. Okay, so if you are preparing for CMAT and are looking for mock test, you can take our mocks. So we have 10 mocks and one of the mocks is free. So the link is given in the description of this video. You can check that out. The activity which occurs when the new venture is started is called. So the point when a new venture is started, the kind of activities that take place at that time, what is it called? So that term is called departure point. So departure point is that point when which a business is launched. Which one of the following is the most important characteristics of a successful business website? Now, certain are about common sense. This is something based on, like, you need to apply logic. If you have a business website, what is the most important feature? Innovation. How does site require innovation? Not much, right? Even if it is, uh, it serves the purpose. If it is doing its, you do not have to have a very fancy site. Okay, that is not uh, something irrelevant option. Speed graphic products. See, it does not matter you sell less products or more products. As long you are selling something valuable, that is there. Now, speed versus graphics. Now, many of you would say graphics, but see, even if graphics are not very fancy, speed matters. Okay, so no matter how good the graphics are, person is not like, it's not uh, uh, like it's not something art that people are appreciating for. They want speed. If the site is slow, you do not visit that site, isn't it? So if you are, like, you are running a successful business website, that is for a business purpose. Okay, so the speed is the most important feature. Okay, so if speed is good, then that is the most important characteristic. So if speed is slow, people will prefer to go to other places. The process of taking up a second job or multiple other work assignments apart from one's full-time job is termed as. Now, this term you might have heard a lot, uh, uh, like, this is called moonlighting. Okay, so if you take up another job in some other firm, right, you work at multiple places, that is called moonlighting. Which company has recently completed the acquisition of Bharat Serums and Vaccines Limited for rupees 13,678 768 crores? So big acquisition. Okay, recent mergers and acquisitions. It's a very big acquisition. 13,768 crore. So the answer is Mankind Pharma. Okay. In entrepreneurship, what does the term market niche refers to? What is niche? Niche. Don't call it niche. What does niche mean? Niche basically means a sort of like some special category. So if you cater to some special category or segment of the market, that is called niche. So specialized segment of the market with specific needs. When companies sell shares to investors to raise capital, it is called dash financing. When companies sell shares, what kind of financing is called? So there are two kinds of financing. One is equity, one is debt, right? So when you sell shares, that is called equity. And debt financing happens when you take loans from bank or some investors. So when you say that, okay, we are selling this part of our company to the investor, that is called equity financing. Sequoia Capital, Excel, Anderson, Horowitz, and Tiger Global, these are examples of what? What are these? Sequoia Capital, Excel Partners, Tiger Global. These are all venture capitalist firms. Okay, VC firms are firms that like they basically their purpose is to invest in businesses and they invest huge amount of money in businesses, right? So they have large pool of funds they allocate to different businesses. Okay, so these are world's top venture capitalist firms. So VC firms know their examples. You can expect questions like these. What does IPO mean? Easy question. I guess all of you would be able to answer it correctly. IPO is the phase when a company goes to the stock market. When it gets listed into the stock market, okay, that is called IPO. It is called initial public offering. When a company gets listed in the stock market, it is called initial public offering. So you might have heard it a lot of times. Okay. The process of innovation often does not include. Innovation does not include. Now, what does it not include? So read the options. These kind of questions, you need to read the options. You'll be able to logically eliminate some of the options. Identifying a problem opportunity. Yes, you identify a problem and then you generate ideas and try to improve it, right? So it will include that. Experimentation and prototyping. Yes, you experiment with things, right? You think of thing, you create a prototype of some product. So that is included. Gathering customer feedback. Yes, that is included in this. Single brilliant idea. Now, what happens in innovation is we discuss about that funnel thing. Okay. So, like we discuss that innovation funnel, you think of lot of ideas and then you funnel out the ideas, multiple ideas, you evaluate them, experiment with them, and at the end you have very few ideas. Okay. So, single brilliant idea is not innovation. I mean, that is very less chance that if you come up with one idea and that would be the perfect idea. So you always uh, like come up with several ideas. Who patented the idea of dynamite? So who patented the idea of dynamite? Okay, so this is more of a GK question, but yes, patented related to something invention. It is Alfred Nobel. And just a request, please go through that Nobel Prize winners. You can get questions from it in the uh, current affairs. Okay. A combination of multiple business entities operating in entire different industries under one corporate group is called. Combination of multiple business entities in entirely different industries under one corporate group. So that is called a conglomerate. So you have all these Tata groups, right? The Reliance Industries, Godrej, Mahindras, right? All these are conglomerates. They operate in different industries. They have multiple businesses under one brand. Okay, so that is called a conglomerate. A high net worth individual who funds startups at the early stages, often with their own money, is called what? So high net worth individual who funds startup at the early stage. So one of the important thing is financing of startups. So if a person is investing in a startup with their own money at an early stage, that person is called angel investor. Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency, Mudra, is a wholly owned subsidiary of which of these organizations? Okay, one of the topics which I talked about is important from the examination point of view is government schemes related to startups in India. So Mudra is a scheme, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Okay, PMMY. So read about this. Important. There have been questions from it in the past also. Okay, PMMY. Read about that. So this thing, right? Uh, Mudra, micro units development and refinance agency. Mudra is a wholly owned subsidiary of SIDBI. What is SIDBI? Small Industrial Development Bank of India, right? So it promotes small industries. Okay, so it's a subsidiary of SIDBI. Which of the following is not a key component of a business model? So which of these is not a key component of business model? So not a key component of business model. See, target market is a component. Okay, use common sense. Target market will be a component, right? You need to know target market. If you do not have target market, then you do not have any business model. Revenue streams, you need to think from what all sources can we generate revenue for the business, right? Marketing and sales strategy has to be there, right? If there is no strategy, there is no point of running a business. So obviously, with elimination, you can say board of directors. So it is saying not a key component. It is not necessary that you have a board of directors. Yes, many businesses have it, right? When you have a very big company, of course, you need to have a board of directors. But the basic, it is not a basic requirement of a company. Others are basic needs. Which of these companies recently launched a new app, Snack, a 15-minute food delivery app? So, startup related current affairs. Indian startups, especially in the food industry, lot of things like quick commerce and food delivery startups were a buzz for the last few months. Okay, so it's a very, very recent news. Like I think just 10-12 days back. Okay, this app was launched, Snack. So it's an app by Swiggy. All right, let's see the next question. Online grocery delivery is an example of which kind of innovation? Architectural, incremental, radical, disruptive. So there are four kinds of innovation. Like there is a matrix, market, and tech. If there is an existing and new, existing and new. So this is called incremental. This is architectural, right? This is called disruptive, and this is called radical. Radical innovation are something that is like entirely new technology if nothing exists of that product. Okay, let's say artificial intelligence, right? Prior to that, you can call cloud technology, internet. All these were radical innovations, right? Radical in that sense that nothing existed before, and you develop new market out of it, new technology that brings new markets also. So that is called radical. Now, if you talk about online grocery and all, market was already there. People were buying things, right? People were buying things, but they did not have like this technology. So new technology was used. That is called disruptive innovation. Yeah. So if anything new technology comes up which did not have anything prior to it, that is called radical. Like AI, right? Artificial intelligence. It came up. That was a radical innovation because nothing existed. Now people have started making products out of it. And incremental is small increments in the existing products and market. So if let's say a new version of Android, right, already there, you're not making any new difference to it. Which of these is not a quality of an entrepreneur? So a lot of questions related to entrepreneurs are asked. Entrepreneurship, which typically involves some common awareness. So which of these will not be a quality? Creativity, that has to be a quality. Okay, if it is not, see, this is a subjective thing that some people may have, may not have. But ideally, a good entrepreneur should have creativity. Okay, self motivation is a must thing. Right? If they are not motivated, they will not be venturing into an entrepreneurship. Rigidity is not a quality. It should have been. They have to be flexible. Okay, so rigidity is not a quality or a negative quality. I would say risk inclination is a positive quality. So that's a negative quality. If an entrepreneur has it, they need to get rid of it and they need to be flexible in their work. A startup that does not take funding is called dash. Easy question. I expect all of you to answer correctly. If a startup does not take funding, what kind of startup is it? So that is called a bootstrapped startup. So there is a word called bootstrapped. So not all startups go for funding. Most of the startups go for funding. But if you raise your startup using your own money, or you use the profits of the company revenue to build the company further, that is called a bootstrapped startup. Which of these can be an entry barrier for a telecom company in India? So if there is a telecom company, which of the following can be an entry barrier? So I hope you understand what an entry barrier is. Entry barrier means, like, if you want to run a business, what can be a challenging thing, or that can prevent you from entering into that business segment. So you can use common sense in this, right? First option says that government regulations. Yes, there are government regulations, right? Not everyone can start telecom thing. There is an agency called TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. So that regulates the segment. So that is there. Distribution channels. Yes, there have to be distribution channels, right? Like, if you, let us say, you start a telecom business, you do not have distribution channel. आप सिम कैसे बेचोगे? Okay, so you have to have a distribution channel, and that to a very large one. You need to sell your SIM cards to each and every village. I mean, that has to be as deep as possible. It is not just limited to cities. It has to go to tier 2 places, tier 3 places, villages, etc. Capital requirement, must think. It's a very high capital intensive business. So all of the above are technological barriers. All of these are entry barriers. I hope you are enjoying this session. So please don't forget to like this video. And if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel as well. In case you are starting your preparation for, or you know someone who is preparing for the examinations for next year, we have our batch. It's a self-paced batch for CAT and OMETs. They can enroll in it. No, it is not common to all companies, right? So that is why specifically telecom was mentioned. The invention of cloud technology is an example of which kind of innovation. So just showed you that four kinds of innovation. Under which category will it fall? So this is a radical innovation. Radical because nothing existed before. Okay, cloud, entirely new thing, new technology, new market. There was no market for it. Right? People were not using any such product. After starting instant delivery service, which firm rebranded itself as Blinkit? So, what was the previous name of Blinkit? So, previously it was called Grofers. Okay, it used to sell groceries, normally like big basket and all. Right? Later on, they launched this 10-minute delivery and they changed their name to Blinkit. Okay, they might ask you the CEO also, Albinder Dhindsa. So one thing just go through is the list of CEOs of top Indian startups. You might get matched the following questions also. The exclusive and assignable legal right given to the originator for a fixed number of years to print, publish, perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or musical material is called. So this comes under the IP rights, intellectual property rights. So they are of different kinds. So copyright is the thing. Like so, whenever this thing is involved, like art, music, literature, etc., is involved, there is a copyright which is for a fixed number of years. Startup India initiative was launched in which year? So I discussed that 16 Jan 2016 it was launched. Startup India was 2016. So government schemes, read about Startup India, Stand Up India. Stand Up India is for I think SC, ST, and I think women entrepreneurs are also included in that. Okay, so read about different schemes, when were they launched, if there are some specific loan that they give to what category of business they are into, etc. The initial set of users of a product or technology is called. So if we talk about the usage of products, so we can classify them at these phases: 2.5, 13.5, 34. This is in percentage. Okay, last phase, these are called laggards. Okay, this is called late majority. This is early majority. Okay, this part is called early adopters. Can you guess what is that very first set of users called? They are called innovators. Okay, so the very first set of users are called innovators. And if a theoretical question is asked, what are the characteristics? So they are tech friendly, tech savvy, they are risk taking people, right? Not everyone will try a new product. Let us say, uh, like electric vehicles were introduced. Not everyone will go and buy electric vehicles in the beginning, right? Some people will be skeptical. But there are some people who try new products. So such people are called innovators. Then next comes early adopters. So there are some people who are in the early phase that they use. Then early majority. Now, if significant like half of the population has used, then the late majority comes. And laggards are the people who are the last ones to use it or never use something. So, for example, like if you've seen that elderly people, they refuse to use technology, right? They may not be having, uh, let's say, they may not be using UPI. They think that okay, it is fraud, right? They are like uh, risk averse. So, if you talk about the early adopters, innovators, these have high risk appetite. They are ready to take risks. They are tech savvy. On the other side, laggards are they fear to take risks, and they are uh, poor at using technology, etc. Quicker is a free classifieds and online marketplace that helps users to sell, buy, or rent stuff from other people. What kind of business model does it have? So these are different business models. This is called D2C, direct to customer. Okay, B2C is business to customer. C2C is customer to customer. And this is called business to business. So what is this kind of thing? Like when you are selling, buying or rent stuff from other people. Who are you buying from? Other people. Who are you selling to? Other people. You are not selling to any company, right? So it is C2C business model, customer to customer. One person is selling their old stuff to another customer. Okay, so company is not producing anything. It is just a mediator, right? It is a site. They will not. uh, like they will just sell the product. They will say that, okay, we have seen the product, you want to buy it, you buy it. They will not take any guarantee of the product. Okay, so that is a customer to customer marketplace. Which of the following cannot be considered as a trademark of a company? Easy one. Product name, product slogan, product shape, product price. See, name is definitely a trademark, so no one else can use the name, right? Slogan is a trademark. What about shape and price? See, there are some instances you can read about it wherein shape is also a trademark. Some people, some companies get their shapes done. Like for example, Coca-Cola bottle. So that iconic bottle, it's a trademark. No one else can use that shape of bottle. Okay. Similarly, there are some kinds of, especially in food and all, some kind of, let's say, chocolates. Okay. You must have heard of that Toblerone chocolate. Okay. So that has that pyramid shape. No other company can use that shape. So because they have had a trademark of it. So sometimes some products can get a trademark. Cars. Okay. You cannot, no other company can make that particular car shape. Okay. Unless they have a deal. So that is a shape, that's a trademark. But price is can never be a trademark. You will not say that I have I am selling this product at 10 rupees, no one else can sell at 10 rupees. Okay, so that is definitely not a trademark. Okay, shape at many times is a trademark. Yes, Pringles, Paperboard, Dom's pencil, all these are examples of shape based trademarks. The practice of funding a company by raising money from a large number of people is called. So when you raise money from large number of people, what is that thing called? This thing is called crowdfunding. Okay, that's a term for it, crowdfunding. So especially if you are running some social enterprise, for that purpose, you take funding from a lot of people. So that is called crowdfunding. Adar Poonawalla, CEO of the Serum Institute of India, has acquired a 50% stake in which of these production houses? Heard of this? Adar Poonawalla, Serum Institute of India. You must have heard of him during the COVID thing. Covishield Max vaccine. And so this company became famous during that Serum Institute of India. So recently they acquired 50% stake in Dharma Productions. Okay, Dharma Productions by Karan Johar. So I think the deal is of worth 1,000 crores. So he has 50-50 stake now. Multiplier Grants Scheme (MGS) is a scheme initiated by which government department? So multiplier grant scheme is basically for R&D in tech startups. Okay, and that is by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So especially like if your startup is related to robotics or aerospace and all such categories, that is multiplier grants scheme. So read about the government schemes, different schemes related to startups. Which ministry are they under? What are their like financial aid that they are providing, etc. So go through that, because there will be a few questions, handful of questions, maybe two, three questions from government schemes related to startups. Which of the following is an example of imitation? So what is imitation? So imitation means copy. Literal meaning means copy something. Okay. So when you try to, let's say there is some product in the market, you just create a copy of it. That is called imitation. Innovation means you apply some technology or some process to improve the product in some manner. That is called innovation. So if you are simply copying some other player, that is called imitation. So if you're launching a brand of hand wash to compete, that is called innovation. New version of the software, that is innovation. You are incrementally innovating. At least new version to nikal le, right? Coming up with 30 minutely, so that is an innovation, right? You are making some sort of using technology to deliver it in 30 minutes. So that is innovation. New variant of like if you're developing a vaccine, that is again that's an invention, not imitation. So imitation means just copy. The first official equity funding stage of a company is called what? Questions related to funding of companies is important. So first funding that a company receives, official funding, official equity funding, is called seed funding. The initial amount that you receive is called seed funding. What is the purpose of a business plan? To secure funding from investors, to establish partnership with other companies, to provide an overview of the company's financial performance, to outline the company's goals, strategy, and financial projections. Again, a question which is based on pure common sense. Funding from investor, no, that is not a business plan. Establish partnerships with other companies, no. Company's financial performance will be in financial plan. So company's goal, strategy, and projections, that is a part of business plan. Okay, I think there was a question which was asked on business plan in the past. Which of these is a characteristic of an organization that promotes innovation? Again, a question that requires common business sense. So out of 20 questions, at least there will be 5, 6 questions or even more that will just require to have some, just read the question, read the options and answer them. Now, of course, if it promotes innovation, it will train employees for creativity, it will reward innovation with an engaging work, promote innovation, right? So all of these are characteristics of an organization that promotes innovation. What is the maximum grant aid capital of Atal incubation centers? Now, government project Atal incubation centers, they are for high tech startups. Okay, uh, basically that work on, let's say, space technology, etc. Okay, so an incubation center is a place where you are given financial funding, not only financial funding but also maybe for R&D they give you space, they give you office space also, they give you a lot of facilities, right? So they help you boost your startup at the initial phase. right? So that grant capital is 10 crores for 5 years, and these are for like high end technology startups. Westbridge Capital is a private equity firm that sponsors which of these sports in India? So could be a GK question also, since it is related to private equity. So I've used here as well. Westbridge Capital. So it's a private equity fund and sponsors which sport in India. So which of these sports was quite popular in the last few months? You must have seen a lot of buzz around chess, right? And you must have seen this thing, sponsor Waka. So Waka is like there's a partnership with Vishwanathan Anand. So it is called Waka is Westbridge Anand Chess Academy. Okay, so this could be a GK question also. What is Waka? So Westbridge Anand Chess Academy, it is an academy that facilitates these chess players. So it takes care of all the expenses of these players. Okay, training, sending them for competitions, etc. So this is Waka. So it is associated with chess. Okay. Which of the following is a startup accelerator scheme by Government of India? Startup accelerator scheme. So accelerator, like the literal accelerator, you mean that something to boost the speed of growth. So accelerator scheme. Which of these is a scheme? So it is for IT based startups. So it is called Samrit. Okay. It is of Ministry of Electronics and IT. Okay, government's Ministry of Electronics and IT. So it is for IT based startups. So read about what are different schemes of the government promoting startup culture in India. Okay, so that is Samrit. So it has some full form also. SA means startup accelerator. Okay, then M I think means of the Ministry of MEITY of MEITY. Then R is research growth, something like that. So you can check the full form also. So Samrid, you search for full form, you get its full form as well. Which of the following is not true about a venture capitalist? So at initial phase, you can get funding from, or at any stage, you get fundings from two kinds of things. One is angel investor, okay, or one is venture capitalist. So angel investor is a person who is using his or her own money. Okay, so if a person individually invests in a company, that is called an angel investor. But if you go for a venture capitalist, so that is a company using its fund, like we talked about different VC funds like Westbridge, we saw, then we saw that Excel Partners, Sequoia Capital, etc. These are all venture capitalist firms. So there they use companies funds to fund a company. Okay, now what is the difference between a venture capitalist and angel investor is, so first is of course angel investor and individual, venture capitalist belongs to a firm, that is true. It does not get a seat on the board of directors, that is false. So venture capitalist will always ask for a seat in the board of directors. Angel investor may not ask. They will say that, okay, we will give you money, we will ask equity, but we will not ask board of directors. But whenever a venture capitalist is involved, they ask for seat in the board of directors. Okay, financial as well as strategic helps everyone gives, like whether it's an angel investor or a venture capitalist. Businesses that look promising, fine. Obviously, they will always invest in businesses that look promising. No one invests in a business that is not promising. Right? No one wants to lose money. Ultimate goal of every one is to make money. Okay, so they will always invest in, that's a common sense, that they will always invest in promising businesses only. But the thing is, they want to get a seat on board of directors, which is false. I mean, the statement says does not get a seat on the board of directors, which is false. Which of these firms has not yet gone for an IPO? Nika, 197 Communications, Flipkart, or Swiggy? For those who do not know 197 Communications, it is known as Paytm. That is the official name of the company. Which of these companies has not gone for an IPO yet? Let's see how many of you are aware of this fact. Paytm is in the stock market, right? Paytm has been in the stock market for long now. The answer is Flipkart. Okay. So Flipkart is not yet in the stock market. Okay, they have not gone for an IPO. This year they can go for IPO. Okay, Swiggy recently went for IPO last year in August, and Nika was an IPO in. I mean, Paytm went to IPO in 21 or 22. Nika also, I think, in 2021 22. Swiggy तो अभी कुछ समय पहले ही हुआ था. So Flipkart has not gone, not yet a listed company in India. What does LLC stand for? So these are different company notations: LLC, LLP, private limited, public limited. You should know these different company types. LLC means limited liability company. So what happens is, you must have seen that private limited and all this. So LLC is basically, there are only some stakeholders that will have vested interest in the company. It is like, if it's a public company, then it people, like normal people, can buy shares of that company. Okay, but if it is LLC, limited liability company, so only some people will have, limited number of people will have shares in that company. The last few users of a product or technology are called, we just discussed it when we talked about that product users, right? So they are called laggards. I hope you are enjoying this session. So please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. And in case you are looking for CMAT mocks, you can check our CMAT mocks. One of the tests is free, and the link is given in the description of this video. Off Business is an industrial goods and services procurement platform. It provides raw materials to MSMEs. What kind of business model does it have? So again, a question based on business models. So if it is supplying goods and like, it provides raw materials to MSMEs, right? So it is supplying material to businesses. So B2B, business to business dealing. Okay, so it is not selling to individuals, it is selling to a business. Which of the following is not a common characteristic of a startup? Which of the following is not a characteristic of a startup? Small team of founders. Now, this is not a common characteristic, right? Common nahi hona chahiye, right? Usually, like, see, there are no hard and fast things, but like usually startups will have a small team of founders. That's a common characteristics. You will not see that hundreds of people finding a company. There will be few people, right? Maybe two people, three people, five, six people. Small team usually. Okay, so that is true. Focus on innovation and disruption. That is why these are called startups. Okay, so obviously they will always look for disruption. Long track record of success, not necessary. And if they have a long track record of success, they would not be called a startup anymore. Okay, so that is the one. Clear business model. So they will have some business model in place and revenue stream in place. So this is our answer. Long track record of success. Uh, of success is not a characteristic. Okay, next question. Dash is a version of a new product with just enough features to satisfy early adopters and provide valuable feedback for future development. So it is called minimum viable product, MVP. So what happens is, let us say if you are launching a product, you in the beginning you launch a small prototype, right? So you launch like you might have heard of many places you might have a beta version, right? So that is called a minimum viable product. So it has just the basic features. Now this is an easy question, and like uh, like after the demise of Ratan Tata, who became the chairman of Tata Trusts. I guess all of you would be knowing the answer to this question. Half brother of Ratan Tata, Noel Tata, is the new chairman of Tata Trusts. All right, let's see the next one. All of the following are the broad categories of external forces except external forces related to business, of course, right? Not like the scientific forces, gravitational force, not talking about that. Of course, the forces in business. Economic forces, operations, technological environment, or competitive forces. So it says that except one of them, these are external forces. So we need to tell which of these is an internal force. So just requires common sense. So if you look at economic forces, right, whether it will be external or internal, you cannot help, right? The companies, like, you cannot control the economy of the country. So that's an external one. Okay. Now, if you talk about like operations is internal, that is under your control. Technology is external, and you can't help. Let's say some new technology comes up, that is not in your hand. Okay. Competitive forces are external. So competitors are external. What you have in your hand is operations. So that is an internal force of business. The term entrepreneur came from which language? So it is from French language, which means to undertake. So there was once a question asked in IND that which language is it from and what does that mean? When the complexity of multiple environments becomes too challenging, international entrepreneurs often do dash. So if international businesses become complex, what will the companies do? Yeah, so that word is entrepreneur. It's a French word. Okay, so go for mergers, not the right strategy. Okay, diversify. It is already complex. It is complex. Sell out foreigner business. That's a passive thing to do. Decentralize operations is the right answer in this case. They will not go for mergers, right? See, decentralized business mean. Let's say, let's take an example. You heard of HUL? HUL का नाम सुना होगा, right? Hindustan Unilever. But it is not an Indian company. It's a UK based company, Unilever. Okay, so they have decentralized operations. So India, they have a Indian branch that is called Hindustan Unilever. Unilever is the primary company. So many times the companies diversify their business. Okay, so they will have businesses in multiple countries. So they will call that, they will have entire different team managing all things altogether. So they will decentralize the operations. So another team will take care of the operations in that company. Okay, so that is the right thing to do in such cases. So if the like in case of international enterprises, if the companies grow very large, so they decentralize the operations rather than going for mergers. Which of the following is not a source of idea generation? Common sense based question: consumer, competitors, brainstorming, or training? Idea generation for related to business. Okay. So consumers, yes, they are a source of idea generation, very large source. In fact, consumers are the ones who give you the ideas what products or services to launch. Competitors, yes. So if you see competitors, what they are doing, you get idea from them. Right? Competitor ये कर रहा है तो आप भी वो करो. So that's obviously brainstorming. Yes, you think of ideas and then come up with the new ideas. Training is not a sort of idea generation. You train people, but that is not a source of idea generation. Which was the first Indian unicorn startup? So unicorn we discuss the companies that have valuation of $1 billion. Right now, well, I mean, you can search on internet. You will get some list of unicorns of India list. There is some site also that is I think by some name VC something like that. So it has the list of all. I think 117 or 118 is the latest count. Now, when we will ask you the latest count, uh, do read about the different startups, and especially I told you that the founders and all of these. Right. So first Indian unicorn startup was InMobi. I think it became in 2012 or so. These were some of the earliest Indian unicorns, like Mu Sigma, Flipkart, Paytm. These were among the earliest unicorns. The first one was InMobi. In project management, EST stands for, what is EST in project management? EST means earliest start time. Okay, if you have to start some project, like some process, the earliest start time is called EST. What protects the intellectual property created by inventors? So, if there is an inventor, which kind of intellectual property right will they use? Invent means to do a scientific research and create some product. There's a difference between invention and innovation. Invention is doing something entirely new, some discovery. Okay, innovation is there is something you use your ideas, you use latest technology and improve that thing. So for inventors, they have patents. So whatever research they do, whatever new uh, product or some discovery they make, they need to get it patented. Otherwise, someone else can call it their own discovery. Which types of businesses go for a Series E round of funding? If you have heard about the funding rounds, so firstly, like some firms get seed funding, then people go for Series A, then Series B, Series C. So there is no such limit. I think beyond Series G, I mean, that is never heard of thing. But usually companies go for 2, 3 rounds of funding, A, B, C. Okay, by that time people get listed. The companies get listed. Most of the companies, maybe 99% of the companies get listed, or they may go bankrupt before that. But very few companies go beyond that. So what happens in that every round is much higher than the previous round. So just taking an example, let us say a company went for Series A funding, and in Series A funding they got 5 crores, or let's say 1 crore. In Series B they went for funding, they got 5 crores. Here they got 20 crores. They got 50 crores. Okay, let's say in Series E they got 120 crores. Okay, there is no specific ratio, there is no specific number. Just telling that the next series is much higher than the previous one. Okay, so, if a company is going till Series E round, that means it has raised a lot of money. So, capital extensive businesses. So, wherever a lot of money is required, they will go for several rounds of funding. Which Indian fintech giant faced regulatory action regarding its payment bank operations in early 2024, leading to significant market impact? Okay, so startup news, although a bit old, few months back, several months back, because early phase of 2024, which of these startups faced regulatory issues, and as a result its market was impacted a lot. Yeah, so right answer is Paytm. Okay, let's see the next question. What is a merger in business? What is a merger? Merger means two companies joining together. But for what reason? Yeah, stocks went quite down. I think they had gone to some 350 or 400 or in that range. The stock fell down drastically that time. So merger is merging of two companies. They combine to form a single entity. Like for example, VI, Vodafone Idea. So there were two different companies. Now they merged into a single company. So there are several examples of mergers. Which tech giant acquired Juniper Networks for $14 billion to expand its cloud services and AI driven networking solutions? So, which of these companies acquired this company for Juniper Networks for $14 billion? Very large deal, recent deal. So, it is by HP Enterprise. Okay. What is ESG in investing? ESG. ESG means, I mean, you can use options. It is very easy to answer using the options. Even if you do not know the full form, ESG is environmental, social, and government practices. So, some firms that are working related to environment, having some social impact, or assisting the government, so that investing in such firms is called ESG investing. Okay, so if you are looking for CMAT mocks, you can try our CMAT mocks. That will give you a fair practice for the examination. So there also we have like 10 mocks, so 20 questions for all sections. So you can get 200 questions of IND there as well. Plus GK also based on the latest type, mostly on static awareness related to CMAT. And in case you know someone who is preparing for CAT and OMETS 2025 or 26, you can for these the year like this year and the next year. So you can recommend them our institute. So here's the next question: what is supply chain disruption? You understand what is supply chain? Supply chain is the entire range of events starting from manufacturing till delivery to the customer, right? Manufacturing, procurement, like raw materials are produced, you procure them, right? You have some supplier who will provide you the suppliers, and then you have distributors on the other side. And so the entire chain is called supply chain. So supply chain disruption, what could be the disruption in supply chain? An increase in consumer demand for a particular product. So it has nothing to do with the supply chain disruption. Sudden interruption in the flow of goods and services from production to consumers, government regulation that boosts international trade, a technological innovation that automates manufacturing processes. So which one it be? So it is like uh, goods and services from production to customer. See, sudden interruption. This word gives you disruption. There is a sudden change in the way you are producing things and it is reaching the consumer. So production to consumers, that is the entire supply chain, and it is uh, like boosting that flow of goods and services. Which group recently completed its acquisition of a 24.5% stake in UK based BT Group? So British Telecom Group. BT Group is British Telecom Group, and which of these Indian telecom giants has completed a stake of 24.5% in this group? So this acquisition is by Bharti Airtel. Okay, so they acquired a 24.5% stake in this British Telecom Group. What is the primary characteristic that distinguishes an entrepreneur from a manager? Easy question to answer. What is the difference between a manager and an entrepreneur? So entrepreneurs focus on innovation and risk taking while managers focus on efficiency and stability. So that is the answer. So qualities of entrepreneur. Read about the qualities of entrepreneur and you shall be able to answer such questions with ease. Which of the following is not a key element of a successful business idea? So successful business idea, which of the following is not a key element? Which of the following is not necessary? So if you have a successful business idea, of course, it should have some features. Address a clear customer need of problem. So this is necessary. You should have some customer problem, right? Then only you will get some idea that this is a business that we need to run. Offers a unique value proposition. Yes, so there has to be some unique values that you are providing. Relies on readily available resources. Requires significant upfront investment. So it is not a necessary element. So it is not necessary that an idea will require too high significant upfront investment, right? They have to have, the idea should rely on available resources. If the resources are not available, you will not pursue that idea. Okay, you should have some resources, right? Some are like, if there are no resources, your entire time will go in gathering those resources. So that is a thing that you should have, but it is not necessary that it requires a huge amount of capital in the beginning. Upfront investment, not necessary, not a key feature. What is the process of identifying and evaluating potential business opportunities called? So if you have potential business opportunities, what is that process of identifying and evaluating those opportunities? Market research, business planning, opportunity recognition, product development. So it is saying large upfront investment. So not necessary. See, it is saying not a key feature. Now, opportunity, these are definition based questions. So, a lot of definitions might be asked. So, just use common sense, potential business opportunities, opportunity recognition. So, you need to identify that this is an opportunity, business opportunity. Let us capture it. Okay. What is the function of a business plan? So, why do we make a business plan? Secure funding from investors. Yes, you can get funding from investors based on it. Guide strategic directions of the business. Yes, that is an important thing. Track and analyze business performance. Yes. See, funding is also, you can say that, uh, can be a reason, like you are creating a business plan so that you can uh, like show it to the investors and get the funding from it. So all of them could be considered as a function of business plan. Okay, so all of them would be the answer. What is the process of organizing, directing, and controlling the activities of a business to achieve its goals called? Organizing, directing, and controlling activities. So, in this session, we have covered a lot of such questions, theoretical questions, definition based questions, organizing, directing, and controlling activities of a business. That is called management. Okay, so when you manage, organize, direct, control, that is management. That's where management is needed, right? Like you have to like organize things, you have to direct people to do things, you have to control the activities of a business. That's what management is. What is the systematic collection and analysis of information about customers and markets called? Systematic collection and analysis of information about customers and markets. So that is called market research. Okay, information about customers, markets, etc. So that is called market research. What is the process of setting and achieving specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals called? So, this strategy is also called SMART. Okay, so you might be asked a full form also. What is SMART? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So, this is called goal setting. What goals you could have figured out. So, SMART goals are like the goals should be specific, they should be measurable, they should be achievable, right, relevant and time bound. So there has to be some time limit in which the goals should be achieved. Which two Japanese firms are going to merge in 2026 to become the third largest car maker in the world behind Toyota and Volkswagen? So the largest car manufacturer in the world is Toyota, second is Volkswagen. Which two firms will merge and will become the third largest? So they will do the deal in, they have announced it, they will start the talks this year, and by 2026 they will complete the merger. Important question could be asked in the examination. So general awareness as well as related to mergers and acquisitions. Yes, the right answer is Honda and Nissan. So both are Japanese companies. They're going to merge soon. So next year they will complete the merger. What is the primary role of an entrepreneur? Very simple question. What is the primary role? Manage large corporation? No. I mean, that's not, of course, at the later stage, a person will go on to manage a large corporation, maybe. or they can hire some person for it. Take financial risks in pursuit of business opportunities. So if you talk about the definition, that is what they do. They take a financial risk, right? They can go into losses also. So they take a financial risk in pursuit of business opportunities. Create technologies. No, it is not a task of an entrepreneur. Right? That's that's some other scientists and R&D people have to do that. Okay, maintain an existing business. That's a role of that's a role of a manager. So easy question to answer. That financial risk and in pursuit of business opportunities. What does scaling a business mean? You must have heard this term several times. Scale the business. What does scaling a business mean? You must have heard this term several times, right? Scaling the business. Scaling the business means to grow the business, right? So expanding the business to handle increased demand. So it completes that demand. Like scaling means increase in what sense? Increase the business so that it has increased demand, maybe in terms of products and services, like increase the revenue of the company, etc. So that is called expansion or scaling of a business. So a category which I emphasize on about Indian startups, especially whosoever have been part of Shark Tank India. I remember that in 21 and 22, both years they had questions related to these startups. Amit Jain, he's the CEO and co-founder of which of these companies? Yes, Car Deco is the right answer. Okay. All right. Which of the following is a common challenge faced by entrepreneurs in the early stages of their ventures? So, which is the common challenge? Okay, an easy one. So, when it says common challenge, think it like a common challenge. Don't be specific to a particular business, right? So, some businesses may have multiple challenges, but what is common to most of the businesses? Think in that direction. Lack of competition, that's a wrong thing, right? Mostly, like there will be competition. If there is lack of competition, then it's an advantage. Okay, that is not a challenge. Now, high capital investment. Now, see, think as I said that common challenge. Think ki common challenge hai ki nahi. Let's see the next one. Limited brand recognition. Is it a challenge? It is a big challenge, very big challenge. Will you buy from a new brand or an established brand? You will buy from an established brand, isn't it? So no matter how good the quality product is, you do not go for a new brand, isn't it? Strong customer loyalty, that is, I mean, that's a positive thing. That's not a challenge. Okay. So limited brand recognition is a challenge. I said that common challenge. So there will be certain questions which you may end up doing wrong because of thinking of a particular business type. Do not think in general in a specific thing. Think in general terms. When it says common challenge for most entrepreneurs. So high capital investment, you are thinking of only some businesses. Not all businesses require a lot of capital investment. There are a lot of businesses that can be done with small money also. So that is not the challenge for all. Right? It can be for some, but not for most. But for most businesses, limited brand recognition is a big challenge. So any brand which comes in the market, you do not simply buy their products, isn't it? What is the core principle of the lean startup methodology? So what happens in lean startup method is a kind of process in which we try to improve the processes over time. Okay, so gradually you try to improve the process. So perfect product before releasing it to the market? No, you do not release a perfect product, but you keep improving the existing product. Rapidly iterating and validating ideas through continuous testing and customer feedback. So that is what lean startup means. It continuous improvement based on customer feedback. So usually it involves this element of customer feedback. Okay, minimizing cost and maximum, that is extreme thing, and detailed business plan before, that is wrong. So we in a lean startup model, you rapidly improve things. Okay, how do business accelerators typically differ from incubators? I think we did a question on uh, accelerators and incubators. So accelerators and incubators are kind of organizations that help businesses at a very nascent stage. Okay, so their growth is, both of them, rapid growth. Both of them focus on rapid growth. Okay, they are not for established businesses. So they focus on rapid growth, but not for established businesses, right? Longer term support and larger amounts of funding? No. Incubators will have larger uh, support. So accelerator is for a shorter intensive programs with a focus on rapid iteration. So accelerator, basically the purpose is for a short duration, maybe 6 months to 12 months. They want that in 6 to 12 months the startup should grow exponentially. So they start accelerator programs are for a very short duration of time. Incubation will be a for a slightly longer duration of time. Okay, so this is non-profit, that is wrong. So both invest in high growth startups and accelerator, the purposes for a short duration of time. In startup finance, runway refers to, what is the meaning of runway? So there's a term called runway. Okay, think, let us say if you are completely unaware of a term, where have you heard the word runway? Not in business. Have you heard the word runway? You must have. Right, runway is in the airport, right? And like, think like, imagine runway. What is runway? Like there's a road, okay? There is some end point, like it gives you some leverage that, like, let's say the flight uh, touches the ground here and there is still this point, एक एंड पॉइंट होगा, ठीक है? रनवे का एक इमेज बनाते हैं मन में. व्हाट इज रनवे? देयर इज वन लॉन्ग रोड, इट विल एंड समवेयर, इट इज नॉट इनफाइनाइट, राइट? समवेयर इट विल एंड, कहीं पे तो खत्म होगा ना रनवे, बट इट गिव्स यू दैट लेवरेज दैट you can drag the plane on the runway for a certain distance. So similarly apply this logic in terms of startup finance. The amount of time startup can operate with its current cash reserves. So a startup has some money with it. How much time can it run with that money? After some time that money will end, right? So till that point in time, that is called runway. So it is expressed in months. Let us say runway of 24 months means the startup, like even if it does not make any money, it will run for 24 months. If it is for 6 months, means it can run for 6 months. So the answer is the amount of time it can operate with current cash reserves. What is the name of India's first AI unicorn? So it became the unicorn last year. Maybe during this time it had become the unicorn. So last year there were hardly a few unicorns. It was one of them. First AI unicorn. Heard of any of these names? The right answer is Krutrim, okay, by Bhavish Agarwal. The person behind Ola Cabs, Electric. So this was his third startup, and all three became unicorns. The answer is Krutrim. Okay, although not a very good AI. Has anyone used this Krutrim, or you just use ChatGPT, Gemini, etc.? Okay, let's see the next one. The loan limit for the Tarun Plus category under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana is. So I told you that like PMMY is a very important scheme. So they have asked questions in the past also. So Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. We talked about this Mudra. It is for it is by SIDBI, provided by SIDBI, and there are four categories. So first is Shishu. Okay, then we have Kishore, then we have Tarun, and now they have launched a fourth category also, Tarun Plus. Now these are all Hindi words. What is Shishu? If you are from Hindi speaking belt, you would be knowing the meaning of word Shishu. Shishu means baby, right? Shishu छोटे बच्चों कहता है, infant, few months old, right? So Shishu loan are up to 50,000, right? Kishore is you can call a small kid. Let's say a person, the a small child who goes to school, like initial ages of school. Let's say you can call it Kishore is like 3 years to 7 8 years or so, right? So Kishore is that. So Kishore, the limit is 50,000 to 5 lakhs. Okay, then comes Tarun. Tarun is young adolescent. Okay, or you can call it a teenager basically, not even like adult, but yes, before that, a teenager. So Tarun is 5 lakh to 10 lakh, and Tarun Plus they introduce later. So it is 10 lakh to 20 lakhs. So that is the loan limit. Okay, so now you might be wondering that 50,000, there are several now. This scheme is for MSMEs, micro, small, and medium scale industry. So there are some industries which require very small funding. Let's say if someone is selling, let's say pickles, okay, or some village products which do not require much money, right? That they do not require heavy machinery for that. Okay, so this Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana is for very small businesses, especially in rural areas. Okay, so this is an important scheme, and you should know. I mean, in fact, other schemes also, read about the government schemes related to startups. There will be definitely one or two questions from that category as well. All right, let's look at the next question. Shashi Ruya, who passed away recently, was the founder and owner of which of these groups? And I'll tell you an interesting thing about fact about this as well. So Shashi Ruya passed away recently. He was the founder of which of these groups? VRL, Future Group, SR Group, or Piramal Group? None of you heard of him? Okay, yes, SR Group is the right answer. Okay. Now, like I was reading about it, interesting that how this group was named. So there are two brothers. Now Shashi is no more. So there, the two brothers are Ravi and Shashi. Okay, so two brothers, Shashi and Ravi, so started this company. So this is S and R, Shashi and Ravi. So they called it ESSAR. Like this S, so they named it SR Group. Right. So he passed away recently. Okay, so yeah, so this was today's quiz, and in this we covered different kinds of questions involving current affairs, involving entrepreneurship based questions, innovation based questions, startup terminologies, project management, government schemes, and whatnot. So this covers almost entire thing that is tested in this. So this is like if you happen to attend it, all these questions, this would give you a very good understanding. And as I said, that a lot of questions are based on common sense. So if you have simple sense and do not think of some specific things, like we discuss some of the questions, which of the following is a quality or common feature. So think of lot of businesses as a whole, not just a specific business type. Okay, and this is not like this is a section where people generally score average marks. Okay, so if you have basic business acumen plus some general knowledge, you would be able to do decently in this section. Okay, and like I hope you enjoyed this session. So don't forget to like this video. And in case you are looking for CMAT mocks, you can try our mocks. So in the next 1 week, like although it's an examination of 3 hours, but you can finish the test within 2 hours. So even if you take two mocks a day, in 5 days you can take 10 mocks and prepare well for the examination. And in case you are preparing for GDPI, so you can enroll in our GDPI program, and a lot of you must be waiting for this PDF for this. So you can get it on our Telegram group. So if you are not a, part of our Telegram group, okay, and you can please join our Telegram group. You can scan this, or you can click on the link which is given over here, and we'll share the PDF of this on our Telegram group. Okay, so that's for this class. It was a long class, and I hope you enjoyed it. Uh, Diverse variety of questions. We explained the concepts also wherever needed. So go through these questions, and a request that go through previous year papers of 21 to 24 as well. So going through these many questions would suffice you to score well on the examination. Few things like government schemes, please go through them, plus current affairs related to businesses, Indian startups, and these theoretical based questions. I believe if you have basic business acumen, you would be able to answer in the examination. Okay, so all the best for CMAT, and thanks once again for watching this class.